Capricorn, this is your June 2021 cosmic forecast, looking at June and beyond using the tarot, using astrology and oracle. So let me just tell you how I'll structure this reading and we'll begin pulling some cards. I will pull now for just some past energies. Let's get right into it. Past energies, then we'll look at present and future. We'll go deeper into them. I'll show you the spread. We'll look through it all together. But for now, what I like to do is just get out the cards initially and see what we're working with. What has Capricorn been experiencing? So I'm going to put this to late May, all right? Late May, but time and energy on these readings is fluid. Take what resonates and leave the rest, Capricorn. Wheel of Fortune coming up. So starting strong with the Major Arcana card and 5 cups, 5 of cups. And then we have got the 9 of Wands. Something kind of came about pretty quickly that either resulted in a disappointment for you in the last kind of 3-4 weeks, or else something that you felt like, okay, I gotta push through with this because I'm going to get to the bottom of something. So I gotta keep digging, I gotta keep standing where I'm at, and I'll get to the bottom of it. But there was some sort of a significant change. We are in the middle of eclipse season, or just at the tail end of it rather. We had our eclipse today, solar eclipse, on June 10th as I'm recording. They do represent change in astrology, okay? Destined change. It can feel dramatic. It can feel like endings and beginnings. We'll go deeper, but for now, let me just get some cards out here for present energies. So what are you experiencing for the month of June overall, Capricorn? What are the themes you can expect? Queen of Cups. And the 2 of Pentacles, which is some Capricorn energy, Jupiter and Capricorn here. 10 of Cups. Oh, so that you're making a choice now this month to be happy, Capricorn. So whatever has been upsetting or confusing or feels like a loss from the past, this month in June, you're like, no, I'm putting a safe bet on something, and it's my own happiness and caring for myself, because all of this change and fear, I think, from the past you've kind of said enough is enough, and you're working on yourself this month. Okay, so let's see what's coming up in the future energies. Let's take this late June going into July. What's going to be there for Capricorn to expect? And then we will break it all down and see what's going on. So let's see. Future energies, late June going into July for Capricorn. So we've got 5 of Swords. There seems to be maybe a delay on something that you wanted to start new. 5 of Pentacles. Maybe you just didn't have the resources or the money to do this. And then we've got, okay, 7 of Cups. So there had been some sort of a plan to undertake something new, but you quickly realize by the end of the month that you haven't planned it properly yet, that there is still some confusion and options to decipher through. We will get into it. We'll clear it all up. But first of all, let me just take it back. So our one and only Major Arcana card so far in this reading, Capricorn, is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, like this wheel turning, it's the circle of life. It's about destiny. And in astrology, eclipses do feel destined, endings and beginnings, or change, okay? And this can be felt over like the eclipses fell May 26th and was a lunar eclipse full moon, and today, June 10th, is a solar eclipse new moon. So around that time, from May 26th to June 10th, and like a little bit of time either side of that, that's when we're going to be feeling like more volatility, emotional intensity, change in direction, things coming up that we weren't expecting, or just shifts and changes, but all just to propel us closer to our destined path. So these shifts may feel more strong, and these changes that happened in late May or in the past may feel more intense if you were nowhere near being on your destined path, essentially. We do have 3 5s in this reading so far: 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups, and the 5 of Pentacles. These numbers in Tarot 5s do represent periods of tightness or constriction, depending on what their element is. But I feel like there was some sort of a disappointment around a change that happened. Something might have happened that's really good. Like, say for instance, you got approved for a home, but it wasn't in the neighborhood where you wanted it to be, or it wasn't where you had originally planned. Or you got, a new job, but there was just something missing that you had kind of said like, oh, I won't settle for this. I won't settle unless I get this particular offer. or if the home I'm moving into has a garden, or whatever it is. I won't settle unless that's the case. But then as it happened, you did settle, but it was just something short of the mark in a sense. But the change had been really good overall, but there was something that seemed disappointing about it. You're feeling kind of guarded as of late, and you've been feeling guarded. 9 of Wands and the 5 of Cups. You're afraid to kind of let your guard down and drop some of these wands from a protective barrier around you, because you don't really trust fully who is around you at the moment, Capricorn. You don't trust everyone's intentions around you at the moment, or you just are, if it's a work situation, you're just feeling like there had been a loss before and there had been some sort of a disappointment or setback in work and what you were doing. And you were disappointed, you know, some of these cups emptied out and it just didn't go how you planned on it to go. And as a result of that, you're very hyper conscious, and even hyper vigilance could be coming in, or hyper aware, super aware of people around you that are equally as professional, equally as equipped and good at their job, or at whatever they're doing, and you feel like, gosh, I can't drop my guard here because they're going to be right in to take the position I'm in or take this promotion or whatever. If it was something to do with a home situation and you were moving during eclipse season, there was like a lot of competition for what you wanted, and there was probably a lot of people bidding for this property, or you know wanting to get that apartment or whatever it was, and you felt this sense of, I can't rest, I can't relax, and I certainly don't want to be let down because this is something I really want. So you just felt like all of May you just had to really keep your drive going strong. You had to keep hustling, you have to keep motivated, you have to keep working. There was no time for really any sort of a break. But that comes as a nice kind of a soothing energy. We're stepping into the month of June with more calm, more inner peace, more feeling much more with higher self-esteem for ourselves, feeling like, you know, at this time in your life, Capricorn, you're like, I don't need to like settle. I really get the energy of settling here, but not settling because you know that you're worth a lot more. You're not afraid to leave a relationship because you know that there's something better out there. It's not this scarcity mindset. Like, you kind of have really stepped up your self-worth and your value in yourself in a really big way. The Queen of Cups is a card of self-love. So you're making a decision between two things this month. And it seems like it's in an emotional in nature rather than financially or materially. This decision that you're making seems to be about where you have, you know, your emotional needs, what really matters to you, what's actually important to you, what's actually satisfying and fulfilling to you. And that is kind of coming up with the transit. Your ruling planet Saturn, Capricorn, has stationed retrograde since 23rd of May and will be retrograde for 5 months. I will talk to you a little bit more about that, what that may mean. But overall, this month you're really like, what is important to me? I feel like you're spending a lot of time with family and friends this month, and if not, the 10 of Cups talks about pure bliss and like radiating happiness around you from whatever is happening, right? So we've got a big contrast between the 5 of Cups, which is a lot of lack, a lot of sadness, even grief, and now we have 10 of Cups where we're filled up. We couldn't be any more full of happiness and joy, and around us we're just sparking off other people. They're happy, you're happy. It's just all, it's like a stream of happiness, basically. Some of you, speaking of streaming, 10 of Cups is something like artistic, something like a stream of creativity, a stream of design, or like just like ingenuity of your new creative pursuits. And it's really, really good. You're nurturing your creative pursuits, you're nurturing your happiness, and all of it is flowing really well. We will clear it up to see what's going on, but as we leave the month of June and head into July, there seems to be some sort of a restrictive period around money, and also around you maybe making a bad investment or repeating a mistake that you have noted in your own mind. Now, whether this was or not, but according to you, Capricorn, in the past there was a failing, and it came around an investment or where you were allocating your funds, and again you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that again. I can't believe I made that choice again. If you can wait on money matters or financial decisions, Capricorn, perhaps wait until Mercury stations direct again by June 22nd, and then that might mitigate some like error, like human error or administrative error or clerical error that could present itself around your money matters by the end of the month. There's somewhat still some confusion about the option you should be choosing by the end of the month, and everything looks okay. It's nothing is like really like you know, you're not able to attain that same level of emotional fulfillment you're feeling right now. By the end of the month you're like kind of wary of a few things, or else there's like this kind of I feel like there's an energy of, okay, things might not, I might be feeling like beating myself up, I might be feeling like down in myself, insecure, not confident, I might be feeling like I'm not good enough by the end of the month. And then there's like this kind of energy where you, because you're feeling the restriction of the fives by the end of the month, you kind of throw yourself into things that are just illusionary in terms of fulfillment, like overindulging in alcohol or substances or sex, or just giving into some vices of ours that in the moment make us feel great, like that, like baking a cake. Like that's all fun and games, but then it's not so fun when you've eaten the whole cake and you feel like vomiting, basically. Okay, let's look into these cards. We'll figure it out what it's all about, but in the meantime I'm going to ground by pulling an oracle card. Okay, Capricorn? Rightio. So we have your layout right here. I've touched on the eclipses. Okay, so I like to read the astrology from the sign, the rising sign position. So Capricorn rising, this will be probably more applicable to you, but also applicable, the eclipses and Saturn retrograde are going to be applicable to everybody in the zodiac. But Capricorn, for instance, if you know your rising sign, for example, maybe you are Capricorn sun with a Cancer rising, go check the video for Cancer out so that you can get some more information. Before pulling an oracle card, I will talk to you briefly about this Saturn retrograde. So this is happening in Capricorn rising's second house of material, income, personal finances, what we own, what we accumulate, all of our resources. So during this retrograde, we may have a shift in what's actually important to us, Capricorn. So 5 months Saturn will be retrograde from end of May to end of October. And during this time, Capricorn rising might start to be like, feeling like they need to restructure and redefine what they're spending their resources on, how they're receiving it, and where are they allocating it and why. So it's going to come down to some emotional security. So it's all, you know, we think second house is all about financial security, but it actually really encompasses our needs too. And I see a great need for you to tend to yourself, stop making decisions for other people's happiness, and fill up your cups to their highest capacity. This is your life, Capricorn, and you deserve to be happy. So as well as that, by the time this Saturn retrograde is over in Capricorn rising, second house of money matters, you probably will have redefined and restructured that area of your life. Like, what do I actually need? What is not worth going after? Does it burn me out? Like, do I really need to chase this? Could be work related, could be a project related. Do I need to exert myself that fully? Now Capricorn, you're ruled by Saturn, so you know a thing or two about endurance and tests of time. So that's no problem to you, but it might be just like, can I be more productive or efficient if I kind of allocate what I need and my emotional needs and see what I actually need rather than what I think I need or what society may expect me to have in my savings account or in my property, kind of, you know, on the property ladder. Or even in terms of family, do I have to have children? Do I have to be married? All of these kind of constructs. And so then, yeah, eclipses are happening in Capricorn rising 6th to 12th house. There is a lot of a feeling for me for Capricorn rising that you're kind of just like, okay, so there's like, you kind of are feeling now this 12th house eclipse that just happened today, like, okay, what's my spiritual path? Spirituality is in the 12th house, and it's like, where am I ascending? Can I leave go of anything that isn't really fulfilling me on my spiritual path? You're starting to see big picture now, Capricorn rising, whereas before the eclipses that happened on May 26th, you were very bogged down on your day-to-day routine, you know, maybe smaller health matters, or, you know, you were very bogged down on what it is to be productive and how I'm productive. Now when this eclipse fell on June 10th in the 12th house, you're kind of getting a greater sense of the bigger picture, seeing more long-term plans, spiritual purpose, the path and journey you're on, rather than the little minute day-to-day and box-ticking exercises and your daily routine and your day job work, basically. Okay, so speaking of our path and our destined journey at this time, Capricorn, let's pull an oracle and figure out where we are in terms of that. So this is coming through as a message to Capricorn from their highest, most compassionate self at this time. What do they need to know? And then we'll pull more cards and clarify these rows with the tarot, but let's get a card for the oracle now. we have Shining Lotus, number 26. So number 26, 62, even number 8 might be important to you today. Okay, let's see, 26. Or you might see that number today. Keep an eye out and what's happening if you do. Okay, so there are times when it makes sense to be discreet until you find your inner strength so that you feel empowered enough to share your thoughts, feelings and beliefs without wavering, even in the face of challenge by another. At times we benefit ourselves and others by taking a risk and allowing the inner blossom of our true self to shine forth for all to behold. It asks, have you been hiding in the spiritual closet, beloved? Sometimes it makes sense to avoid sharing your thoughts and feelings about spiritual beliefs and other personal matters until they are clearer in your own mind. However, there are also times when hiding your deepest truths away from the world will no longer protect you, but actually hold you back from living in your divine destiny, shining lotus light of your own soul and walking path into the world. It doesn't mean you have to shout it out or make some big grand announcement or anything like that, but maybe there is something that you feel building within you spiritually, Capricorn, that you could share with another. For example, these eclipses may highlight that. And maybe there is something that you feel like nurturing. And I don't see necessarily challenges being met, like this oracle suggested, like in the face of challenges by another. However, the Five of Swords kind of could suggest that you psych yourself out of talking to people or sharing your beliefs because in the past you have been burned by that before, essentially, Capricorn. Okay, so I'm going to pull some more cards now and see what's coming through right now on the tarot for clearing up these rows. So let's look at the Wheel of Fortune specifically. It's the only major arcana card so far. I think it could be important to you in terms of what's been changing and what actually, Capricorn, ask yourself, what's felt quite like destined change? It could be small habits that you've changed. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to limit my intake of alcohol to 1 time per week. I am going to spend less time on the internet. Little small changes that in actual effect will actually have a longer knock-on positive effect in your life potentially. Let's clear it up. What has been going on with these cards? Wheel of Fortune, 5 of Cups, 9 of Wands in the past for Capricorn. All right, Page of Wands. And the Devil, which is your ruling card associated in the major arcana. The Devil card in reverse. And we actually have your ruling planet, Saturn, that we were talking about, represented in the World card at the bottom of the deck. Wow, so this was also, so there was 2 things that came into these changes in the past energies, Capricorn. There was a huge dose of destiny, but there was also your free will. So we have both concepts in astrology and in, you know, esoterics, metaphysics, or all of the spiritual world, destiny and free will. We have both that are playing with us at all time, and we're playing with and we're interacting with that. So Capricorn, the changes that may have come about, talk to me about relocation and moving, even to somewhere in a warmer climate potentially, somewhere that you feel like is a different culture or just like a different area with many cultures there. It also can talk to me about, I guess, some sort of a fascination, I think, or like there was maybe some sort of a disappointment for some. Now this is quite a specific message, but I'm sensing that there was a disappointment involved with somebody younger than you or somebody from like a different cultural background, or there was some disappointment for some reason around some sort of an obsession. Devil reversed, it's gone a bit too far now. We have like, you know, we have control and sort of and power here in the Devil card energy, but there's something kind of went a bit wrong and there was like some sort of obsession about somebody maybe, or something, or some sort of a cultural background, or maybe, you know, you were listening to a lot of like global-ish news, global politics, global things going around in the world at the moment, and you were getting very bogged down by it. Maybe you were getting, it was very heavy to like hear about all of this, hear about all the disasters, hear about all the crises and humanitarian crises. You were getting very maybe bogged down, and that could have come to maybe taking a step back from maybe the internet, Capricorn, I'm seeing in a sort of way. But basically, there is also the energy of somebody younger than you, zestier than you, with more of a spring in their step, kind of coming up to take your position in, as you are you're so advanced in some area of your life, Capricorn, the Nine of Wands tell me. You have been persevering, you've been strong, you've been enduring, you've been dedicated and focused and really driven in an area of your life. But there's somebody that's just got this kind of new kid on the block energy, spring in their step, this razzle dazzle, they're not jaded, they're just ready to go, and you feel like, oh, hang on a minute, I really need to step back into my power. I can't, it's this energy of not really being able to let the ball drop, and you know, having to really stay on your A game. But this is kind of manifesting in why Capricorn? Well, this Saturn retrograde, especially for Capricorn rising, happening in the second house, will that actually shift your focus on what it is that you truly need? All the Capricorns rising might be watching Capricorn sun, moon rising, whatever, might feel this. It might shift, like, what do I actually need again? Have I been really shirking my emotional fulfillment and what makes me happy, what makes me feel calm, what makes me feel uplifted and loved and loving myself, and just, oh, I just want to hug and squeeze myself and say, yes, well done, you go Capricorn. That's what the energy you're stepping into right now is, and what's presently around you. So I do feel like there is some sort of a shift there. There is a real need to let go of some control. If you feel like there is some sort of a project that is almost, or project, job, ceremony, big event in your life that's almost ready to be completed and you know it's going really well, there might be some sort of a disappointment around it, but overall you are able to manage to pull it off successfully. But just don't be kind of, maybe not lowering your expectations, but be fairer with your expectations and realize, like, if I, you know, just pare it back a small bit, 5% of the way, I might be actually a lot happier. The people around me might be a lot happier. I might be able to spend more quality time with family, friends, loved ones. I may have a better work-life balance where I can focus a lot on my hobbies or pastimes that I enjoy, or what, like, you know, I don't know, whether it be dancing or golfing or painting or the tarot, whatever it may be. You're like, oh, I don't need to, it's not just work all the time. And there's always going to be competition. There's always going to be competition, Capricorn. All right, so that's what's coming up. But for a lot of you, it looks like some of you on a bigger scale are just at the phase in your life, these two major arcana cards are telling me, where you're bringing things successfully to completion. These have been destined events for you, destined rites of passage, and you've made all the right choices concerning them, and that's what's bringing them to full circle completion. The World card, the last card in the deck, last card in the tarot, ruled by Saturn, which is the planet of time, karma, endurance, and, you know, going the distance and keeping up that hard work and effort. No problem to the Capricorn. Saturn is your ruler. Okay, so let's see what's coming through now in this present energy. It looks really fulfilling, and it looks like you're making choices this month that, okay, Jupiter in Capricorn. So we'll be, when we make our choices, they expand and they grow and they create more harmony, more love and abundance around you. So that's really great. You've landed on the right choice this month. Let's see what else is coming through to clarify. Queen of Wands, more beautiful energy. So we've got two queens here, and queens are associated with growth and abundance. All right, so now we've also got the Nine of Pentacles, which is more beautiful, abundant energy. This energy is very energetically feminine, which means it is more of a receiver than a giver. And so we are receiving this month. We are receiving self-love. We are receiving opportunity to make advances in our life. We're receiving fun and just joy and creative expression and inspiration. We're also receiving a boost in our self-confidence and our recognition, and sort of, you know, receiving that. So receiving love, receiving recognition, and giving it to ourselves, Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, job well done, pat yourself on the back, Capricorn. You're saying, look what I have achieved so far. All of this effort in the Nine of Wands has now manifested, and effort and perseverance has now manifested to some sort of a reward or gain, or something that you can physically notice. Like, is it a influx on, you know, your social media account that you advertise your work on? Has that come through now so you can actually see the results of something? You know, you could see this all blossoming perhaps, but now you're actually seeing it in numbers. Or is it finally getting recognized at work? Or is it asked, you know, your boss or somebody asked you to come to dinner with them to talk about your future? So there's things like your personality is at play here. So it's you, Capricorn, are the driving force of all this recognition and good attention and getting what you deserve, and, you know, feeling well respected in what you're doing, feeling, you know, gratitude, and you feel that people are grateful for you. And this is all coming from your essence, your inner light. In the Queen of Cups, your inner kindness is shining through, and your warmth is radiating at this time. You're feeling really confident. Don't be afraid to let your guard down, Capricorn. It seems like things are being very well received at the moment. However, I do have the Tower at the bottom of the deck, which tells me that this won't be the most plain sailing month. While it looks beautiful, there might be things like sudden love coming through. There might be something else that seems quite sudden, but ultimately there is an indication here that with the Devil card reversed and the next Tower that we've seen, our major arcana that's coming after the Devil reversed, I'm sensing liberation. The Devil is when we feel quite powerless, or and it could be powerless to our work, powerless to our job, and, you know, workaholism, or it could be addiction to a substance or a behavior or a relationship, something like that. I do get the sense that some of this will be liberated though, and whatever you had been feeling powerless to energetically in May, there is some sort of a liberation and breaking free from that, and you think there's like a big sigh of fresh breath air, a big inhale of breath after this happens. Now, it may be unsettling, like the Tower moment can be feeling like restructuring and change, and I do sense that change is in the air, but ultimately it's a change that's going to leave you feeling a lot freer and more liberated from whatever it was, I think, that was leaving you feeling powerless in May. You may know what that is. It's going to be totally individual, but there does seem to be liberation. Might be shocking to you, but ultimately freeing. Okay, so let's see what's coming through by the end of June going to July. And we're going to clear up this Five of Swords, Five of Pentacles, and Seven of Cups. Let's have a look. Temperance. And we've got Four Swords. This is and at the bottom of the deck, the Ace of Pentacles. So I'll talk to you about this briefly. This really is this is going to be a little bit more constricting, but the message to clear up is saying, don't worry, just be patient, just wait, sleep on things, give things some more consideration. It isn't really a time for pushing forward at the end of the month. It seems like it's a time for letting things flow and not going against the grain, but just flowing with life, flowing with other people. There seems to be, like, if there has been any tension like that between you and another person, temperance is a really good indicator that things, if it's a very intimate and close relationship, that things can be soothed out, like the water flowing or whatever this liquid between these two vessels here is. It's like an alchemical process, and so is the flow of intimacy, so is the flow of conversation or energy exchange between you and another person. That's all alchemical, because, you know, words are powerful, words are magical. One of my favorite quotes from Albus Dumbledore, nerd alert, Harry Potter fan alert, is like, it's something like, I'm paraphrasing now, but like, words are the most inexplicable form of magic because they have this power to both inflict hurt and remedy it, or inflict a wound and remedy it. So just think about your words at the moment. You may have, bitten your tongue a lot over the Mercury retrograde, hopefully, and not blurted something out that had something that was a little bit more of an extreme ramification. If there had been any problems with other people, I really see soothing. I think it's going to be able to have a very healthy conversation. Some of you may have slept on it and waited and bitten your tongue, and now seems like the right time to address something. But this is also saying, if you are picking through options at this time, Capricorn, Seven of Cups is about confusion around the options. And if you can see this, we have a lot of flies here at the bottom of the deck, or bottom of the card here above the water. For some reason, when I see flies above water, it makes me think that the water is stagnant, or it makes me think that it's not flowing like this Temperance, okay? And we only ever should, drink flowing water. We don't want stale, murky, dirty water with flies around it, right? So something isn't perfect at the end of the month in terms of how you're viewing another person, in terms of how they see you, in terms of like what you even think about them. So I think by the end of the month, you're like, okay, I'm so glad I took my time and like really saw through the illusion of what this was being presented to me, and I saw the truth of it. I'm so glad I took my time. Information may have come your way and you're like, oh, this makes a lot of sense now by the end of the month. There is an opportunity that you can take by the end of the month. Going into, I think this is going to show itself mid-July, this opportunity for aligning yourself with a new path, and I think a bit of rest and relaxation, or just you need to basically get these swords and cut through the illusions of the Seven of Cups, because by the end of the month, going into July even, there's going to be some window for you to take a new direction or begin a new path, project, endeavor of yours, where you will be so glad you didn't just jump and settle for an option. So this reading seems to me about settling and not settling, okay? Well, Capricorn, that was your June 2021 and beyond cosmic forecast. If you liked this reading, please consider subscribing. I will be back with a love reading for your sign next week. Thanks, Capricorn.